Welcome back to another exciting Lord Duckman production. And yes, I'm keeping that name, as novelty as it may be. We'll discuss it in January on my other YouTube channel. But back on subject, you guys watched me chop up this 1967 bus to score the much needed body parts for Gregory, and I cut this bus all the way down to its frame. The excitement around Eleanor seems to have died down a little bit, and while I'm still working on the Beetle in the background, this frame seemed like a good base for a future project that really has people interested in watching. So we're back today to get some more patching and welding done on this frame. And this frame is a truck frame for any other design, but this frame in itself is not what provides all the strength to a Volkswagen bus. In fact, it's kind of thin, stamped sheet metal for that matter, and it probably wouldn't hold up too well to the stresses of road travel without a body being fitted to it. With that said, keep in mind that a bus has a unibody construction. This is not a Beetle. The body is not removable without cutting. All pieces are welded together in one big lump that forms a bus. And while it may have a truck-like frame underneath it, this frame itself is not removable. Chevy, Ford, and Mopar guys, take note, this is not an S10, an F-150, nor a Jeep. The body nor the bed unbolts from the frame. This bus is all one piece. So what I'm getting at is the body that will eventually mount on here will provide the strength to tie everything together. I'm not going to add a ton of reinforcements to this frame, as they're not necessary within reason. If I plan to beat the crap out of it off-road, which might happen, then you'll see some additional reinforcement work here. So just what am I planning to use for a body? Well, we're going to bolt on a 1996 Ford Ranger body. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But I am pulling a few strings locally to see what I can find that is available and won't make me or anyone else cry for cutting it up to make it fit as I want it to. But it will be a full custom build, and just like the ATVW that I built last winter, this will be another built-from-junk project that will be done quickly and on a tight budget and will be parked right next to Eleanor at our car show next October. Meanwhile, we're going to keep repairing the rust on this frame until I find that proper body. So stay tuned for that, and please stay tuned for a quick product review. But first, don't forget to likey, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be right back. Here we have a gift sent to us by our friends at Xin Tianya. It came pre-packaged in a nice presentable box, but these boxes are available in many different colors, and that's only half the fun. Inside the gift box is a wonderful little axe knife, or ulu knife as some might call it. This is an interesting knife, and I can't wait to take it camping for a wonderful conversation piece. There are many other gifts such as this that they can send to a loved one this holiday season, so please check out their website, giftboxesfactory.com, or check out their links down below in the video description. Special thanks again to our friends at Xin Tianya. What you got there, B? A chicken frame.
Chicken frame. We're framing chickens.
Framing chickens.
And it is framing chicken quite nicely.
It is framing. Alright, welcome back everybody. Here we are once again with this 1967 Volkswagen bus frame. There's the repairs that we did in the last video. Those welds turned out to not be too bad, even though I was doing them in the dark. Yes, there was an area over here where I did a little burn through, but this actually has some severe rust, so I have to cut this section out of it anyway. I'm going to actually just replace that. Now, the bottom is strong, and the frame we know is straight. The front section, anyway. From this weld seam all the way to the front, we're now straight. This side, actually, I think we're in pretty good shape, but this side we're going to have to do some work on. If you look between those two boards right there, you'll see why. And I thought it was just a weld that split, but no, it turned out there's, now that I'm getting a good look at it in daylight, the frame actually had a chunk just rot out of it. I mean, that's a good 1-inch chunk is missing from it. And then, of course, the water got into the weld and then started to fatigue it from the bottom. But on the top, it's just fine. Now, for those of you that are watching, and I did get a couple comments on this the last time around, the frame is not one piece. It's not one long spar. It's actually 4 pieces. There's a corner. Each piece is a corner. And that weld right there is what joins them together. So if the weld is compromised, so fucking what? Doesn't mean the entire thing is shot, or that I have to replace the entire yeah, I don't know. There's some very, very unimaginative people out there that don't understand how these things work. So anyway, what I'll do is I'll just cut out a couple-inch section, some angle iron, lay it over that, simply mark it, cut it, you know the drill. You saw me do it over here, same thing. It's just I'll put a jack under it, lift it back up, put a level across the top of it as a straight edge, and make sure that everything is aligned properly as it should be. And then we'll work on this bowing situation once I've got that straight. So that's what we got in today, and we'll see where we end up with that. And, you know, I guess I'm talking too much. Let's go ahead and just get to work. Copyrighted music and blasted commercials again, guys. Hope you don't mind it too much. Again, that's why I run background music. All right, well, we're going to pull those 2 pieces of wood out of there. This section right here is actually where the side doors are, so it's not a surprise that this side is rusted worse than that side, because there are so many more places for water to get in from over here. So, simply that frame was compromised. It's also compromised right there, now that I'm getting a good look at it too. So, once we get this thing squared up and I get that straightened out, then we'll cut this section out, and then we'll replace a little section on the bottom in there and patch that in just the same. Yeah, it would have been a whole lot easier to just go and buy a component, but just to remind everybody, each one of these corners is $600 something. So we're looking at a $2,400 frame here, or I can spend, 8 to 10 hours of welding and cut and patch this thing and have it be just fine. Yeah, some people just don't get it. All right, let's just see how straight this thing is. And yeah, I ground down all the boogers sticking out of the top of the frame just so it didn't knock us off there at all. And yeah, it definitely needs to come up just a little bit, not too much, but it's enough that you can actually see it. When you look at the frame this way, you see how it's sagging on the right there? The two 2x4s that are up front are actually in line with the beam, whereas that one, you can see the yellow level in the middle there. Yeah, it's actually sagging a bit. All right, well, let's get the floor jack under it. Lift it up just a little bit. I mean, geez, it doesn't need much at all. And then we'll start taking some measurements and doing a little choppy. All right, I think we're good. Nice and flat. Alright, here's our piece. We're gonna weld in there, draw our lines, and start our cuts. Always, and I mean always, check your discs by flexing them. If you hear them crackle, or if they come apart, you don't use them because they explode. Seems a little high in the middle, but you know what? That might shrink as it cools. And if we need to put a relief cut somewhere, we will, but it's only a little bit high. It actually feels high here, which is out of the ordinary. Alright, well, we'll let it cool down. We'll come back and check on it. Chances are, it's probably going to be fine. And I was right, I took a break for a minute, and it's starting to plane off, but I'm going to pull that jack out, which is putting a little bit of upward stress on it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it came down just a little tiny bit. And there's no more rocking on the level. Okay, we're perfect. In the famous words of my grandfather, what the hell is this?
68 single cab.
I recognize this one. I've seen the ladies around.
Yeah, flower lady.
Yeah.
She's got her signs and everything in there. And I've got it because I'm putting a new mustache bar on it. We'll rest it up.
Promote her business? Oh, there's no phone number. Oh.
But on the other side, it's better.
The other side? There you go. I've seen them all over town for a while. Your flower trucks, see? So what you got doing for it?
Well,
Uh-oh, car coming.
I'm checking out the brakes on it.
Brakes.
It's kind of spongy.
Spongy
the clutch
brakes.
is going to need adjusting, minor stuff. But the main thing is I pull the bumper, and in fact that's a brand new engine from Just Bugs in Mississippi. So I took the turnkey engine that was in it, which wasn't so turnkey because it was ran without any oil in it and locked up. So the case was gone. So everything in there, it's not a new case, it's a used case, but it's line board and all that business. Everything in that engine is new, and he just took all of the tin and alternate and everything, put it on this engine, and brought it back turnkey, and I just plugged it in.
Plug and play.
Plug and play. Now I've got to take the rear bumper off, and look at that rust there. Tobacco
The rust
juice.
or is it dirt?
Tobacco juice. It's coming out from somewhere.
Something leaking out of there.
You know, it's probably from our flowers. It's probably dirt. But
It's funny, it just smells like ladies.
hey.
Just smell like makeup and floral perfumes and.
Yeah, her mustache bar that's on there right now is just complete. The rear engine support hanger. The rubber mounts are gone, and the metal is deteriorated real bad on that. So I had another one, and I stopped by there when we dropped Scott Snow's Volkswagen Thing engine off at Just Bugs to have it rebuilt. Almost the same.
Kind of the same situation. That was a yellow thing that you guys saw here last week.
Yeah, when I left here, it died. It died in my driveway, basically. The main bearings, they wouldn't get enough oil pressure, and it just, as the engine got hotter, the case expanded out and allowed more oil to go past the bearings. Oil pressure dropped almost to zero, evidently, because there's no gauge. When I let my foot off the accelerator and it went to idle, 4 psi is what operates that loss ending unit. It activated, so something was the matter. And it was overheating.
That's a telltale sign of overheating on a Volkswagen when that oil light starts to flicker. If it comes on solid, you're in big trouble.
Really, it did for Scott, and he put oil back in it, and the light went out, but I think the damage had been either done then or previously. Previous owner.
Yeah.
This is my road test road.
Is it? Jump the speed bumps, do you?
Yeah, the speed bumps and brakes. But this thing is pretty cool.
It is really cool. I've seen it around for quite a while before we even knew who they were.
Yeah. It's still got the gear reduction boxes on it. So
yeah. Typical bay window interior. Everything in there looks great.
Yeah.
Mind if I open the door?
It's got a tachometer, but it's not working. Probably
There you go.
Probably this thing got the negative wire hooked up to the coil back there because I did see a wire back there.
That's in some good shape too. I expected to see some rust and stuff down here like you usually do. It looks like it's been cleaned up and patched up a little bit, but it's together.
And she's got some wires hanging down, and I think...
Don't we all?
I think one of them goes to that tachometer up there. I'm pretty sure that's probably it. But, oh, look, the brake reservoir is empty.
Oh.
So
Well, you're working on brakes. That's probably why.
Like I might be...
You might have just figured it out.
When the parts come in. But she drove it to Alabama and back, and she was thrilled. Went across the big bridge that goes over there and into Alabama, and you know, where the intercoastal waterway goes underneath out there in Panuco, I guess. And she was happy. The other day I was out there working on one of the BWs, and I heard a BW coming, and she went roaring down the road about 50 or 60 miles an hour. So I when I talked to her about bringing it over to work on the engine support, I was asking her, hey, why are you driving that thing so fast? Oh, it runs so cool. So
I love the Porsche wheels on there too.
yeah, that thing is really awesome.
Yeah, it's
And I can't remember.
it's a hot little truck. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's got.
I've never owned one. Maybe someday. I got a bus frame.
Yeah, it's got
Gotta figure out what I'm gonna do.
It's got an IRS transmission in it.
Yeah, it should. It's a 68.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, all
But
bay
with
windows
the
did.
reduction gears on it. And
It does have reductions?
I think it does.
I didn't know they did that on 68s.
Well, maybe. I'm lying.
You liar.
I was got my vehicles fixed up.
All right, that turned out pretty good down there. Next thing, we need to address this. Up here there was a crack. There it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this whole section from about here, about 1.5 inches just left of that, to about here. Because this whole section is really pitted and falling apart, whereas over here it's still pretty strong. So we're going to drop this entire piece right in here and be done with it. Now that should work out pretty good. Anyway, you know the drill. Lay it out, trace it, cut it, weld it. Here we go. Now while we're looking at the top here, this bows out. So I think that while I'm here, I can actually straighten the frame, and actually that did a very good job. Let me show you that. Alright, that pie cut open up, this one closed up, and now when we look at that spar from the top, it's straight. The bottom is still kicked out, but I can get under there with a strap and just pull that in. That's not a big deal, but if the top is straight, we're in a good spot. Alright, I'm gonna cut the rest of that out, weld the new piece in, and I might just attach a straight edge to the front of it just to make sure that it stays that way. I don't think it'll move, but I guess we're gonna see. we're about to wrap up. I had to put the light on because it's starting to get dark out. Usually I don't put it on this early, but I figured it was better to wait until it was, now until it was pitch black. It just made more sense, yeah. Anyway, there's a section that we fixed today. A little section on the bottom here and a big section on the top. A little section on the bottom was a result of the front and rear frame quarters actually had a lot of rust in between them, and the rust got in between those welds. Now, I don't know what this component is. That apparently they had some kind of component in between the two pieces, like a cross-shaped. If you were to do a cross cut of it, it would have kind of a plus or an X shape to it. It looks like that's what was in between there and how they welded them together. And the moisture had gotten in between it and it caused the welds to come apart. Besides the fact that there was a 1-inch just chunk missing from the bottom. Anyway, that's gone. The piece from the top, look at that. Pretty pitted, cracked right there. This side of it, however, was fine, but nonetheless, we've replaced it all with a piece of exercise equipment. And I still have this much, actually I still have a couple more pieces in the back, smaller pieces remaining for doing some other random patch jobs like up in here, so I can take care of that. I have to do the same thing on the other side. And also in here, when we get this cut away, which is probably next, I'll make a piece to stick up inside of there too. So we'll get that fixed up also. Otherwise, this thing's coming along quickly. Last video had a lot of people that had their doubts, even though the video before was nothing but people saying wonderful things. This time around, it's like, I've made so much progress and now you're doubting me? I don't get that. I really don't understand it, and I'm never going to understand it. I'm not even going to try to understand it. But anyway, I'm very happy with this chassis. It's just, yeah, things are coming along on it quite well. Well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some of that wonderful cat piss that you see down there, and we're going to spread it across some of that bare metal, and then I guess we're going to wrap it up for the day. That stuff is wonderful. Phosphoric acid, I keep telling people to get some. Links down below in the video description. You put it on your bare metal, you put it on your rust, but you do have to put some elbow grease in there and wire brush off as much of the rust as possible. Then apply the acid. Then come back and wire brush it again, and maybe even acid it again. It takes a couple times sometimes to get all the rust off. But it's pretty aggressive, and it works really, really well. I recommend it. But anyway, let's go ahead and hit that spot there and get this thing dressed up for the evening. It doesn't look like it's gonna do that mist thing tonight. It did yesterday pretty bad, but only in my neighborhood, which is weird. I drove down the stop sign, made a left, and all that mist disappeared. It's just here. And of course, planes flying over, like always. Alright, as I said before, this stuff loves to eat metal oxides. It also likes to eat concrete, so don't do it on your driveway. That would just be a bad idea. You'll see here, again, how it turns the metal nice and white. It will eat up the rust too. That's on the frame here. It's not particularly aggressive when it comes to flesh. I mean, it's an ingredient in Coca-Cola, as I said before. And they add it for flavor, believe it or not. One of the reasons why, probably one of the reasons why I get heartburn from it. Too much acid. Could also just be because the Duckman's old. You're not that old, especially when my girlfriends are half my age, right? Alright. Get this stuff put on here. Wait until you guys see this in the next video. All the spots in here, all I did was just hit it with the wire brush. You're going to see a huge difference in color. And then we'll wire brush it again because it'll probably turn white. Probably should wear goggles, I said this before, but I don't think it's going to damage your eyes unless you pour it directly into them. It's not particularly aggressive against flesh. Back when I was cutting up Eleanor, I used to run a magnet into the driveway. After every day of work, all this black stuff you see in the driveway here is iron filings. I don't like to leave it in the driveway because it will leave rust stains. But I have a peanut butter jar, a medium-sized peanut butter jar, not a little one. full of all the iron filings that I could collect from Eleanor for the whole job. There we go. Ooh, this is much more rigid than it was. Ooh, yeah. Now the suspension is doing its job instead of the chassis flexing up. Very nice. Ooh, yeah. And look at that. Some of the acid dripped on the driveway. Damn it. I have to rinse that off because that will leave a white spot that'll take a long time to erode off of there. Alright, well I guess so ends another video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Licky, likey, comment, and don't forget to finger flick that subscribe button. And while you're down there, pluck that dingle belly. That way you get updates every time I upload a video. That's fun to say. I just like saying that one. If you enjoy seeing this stuff, though, yeah, definitely post a comment, guys. I want to know more about what you want to see on this YouTube channel, you know, for whatever it's worth. It seems like when I'm cutting and welding and fabricating stuff, I get the most feedback, the most viewership, the most, just, my numbers are better. People seem to enjoy this stuff, so maybe I should stick with it. Ah, well, here we go. Framework. Yay! Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Let me see you. Look this way and smirk a little. There you go. Oh, crotch shot. Fun. It's a crotch shot. Fun.
Not much there.
Well, they better not be. Your male audience wouldn't be the same.
Some of them would, probably.
Well, like I said, wouldn't be the same. Some of them would, but you'd have a new audience. You remember where it was really rotten and broken, right?
Yes.
Right about where you're standing there.
Yeah, I think I got so cold last night it froze.
Yeah, that's frost.
Yeah.
That's actually the phosphoric acid. Cat piss, right?
Yeah.
But I replaced the sections there on the bottom on both sides.
Neat.
I replaced a section through here that was quite a mess, too.
I like your custom spacers.
Thank you.
Speaking of termites.
That's actually what spread the frame out because, you know, it was all twisted and wonky. So 2x4s is the perfect size. They actually fit right in there like they're supposed to be there.
I just got it. You can name this thing the Twisted Sister.
D. Snyder.
Yeah.
Twisted Sister? What is this?
I just saw that video too. That Dave was obviously a military guy. Mister.
Oh yeah, he was. I carried an M16 when I was your age, and you carry that electric twanger.
Oh my god, I love that video. We ain't gonna. Oh man. Yeah, look. This is protective equipment.
You can have that.
It's in.
It's OEM.
Thank you, sir. I'll make a sandwich.
It's OEM. Looks like Pensacola oil spill stuff,
think
actually.
It's about time for some more boots.
Oh yeah. This whole transmission's coming off. In fact, there might even be a lucky buyer for it, so we'll see.
Hey, it's probably functional.
And a lot of people want those.
Yes.
Yep.
Especially the dune buggy guys.
Yep.
Man, you put that thing in first gear with those reduction gears on there, you can go up the side of a mountain.
Especially if you put big tires on, then it drives well because it's geared properly.
Man, you got to have a little bit of a torquey engine.
Yep.
To do that.
And I thought about it, but they don't really work well with IRS. I'll have to do a lot of customization caca if I want to get into that. And I might, but we'll see.
This is an extremely rare sight to see, a Volkswagen bus.
With the body off, yeah.
The only time.
Oh, lazy son of a bitch. Ring the doorbell.
I see what you have to go through.
They don't just tap it either. They have to be obnoxious with it.
Yeah, it's obvious.
This is the noisiest neighborhood I think I've ever lived in. And I'm sure they say the same stuff about me, but you know what? I don't care because I'm working. It's different when you're not working. You're making noise.
Is that original wiring in there?
Yes.
Wow, man, that thing's in great shape.
Yeah, it was all buried in insulation, and it ran through the frame. And I'm trying to get it out of the frame. It won't come out. So I'm trying to salvage it because there's a lot of good copper in there.
I don't know what you could do.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I might pump a water hose or something through it. There might be some mud or something in there. So You can see it on the ground, this clay. This orange clay stuff.
Yeah.
That was coming out of that in there, and that might be like termite nests in there holding it in or something.
Pressure water.
Yep, so I might just stick the hose in it and push water through it and see what happens.
If it's dirt dauber, that's one of the hardest.
Which I think it is.
There is.
I think it is, yeah.
This is just boys and girls, that's why you need to
change your underwear once in a while.
Yeah. That's just fried oil in there, basically. I don't think it was put on there deliberately to insulate it.
Yeah, that whole transmission's coming out of there.
Yeah. All right. Well, it meets inspection standards.
Yay.
As to needing replacements.
That's it.
But good job on this one. I remember what it looked like, and it was nowhere near.
Still needs a little fine tuning here and there, but the fact is now it's straight. You put a straight edge on it, and it's absolutely straight, right across that top. Because it was sagging real bad in the middle, and I can get up on it and jump up and down now, and the suspension flexes instead of the frame.
Well, cosmetically, you're not worried about it too much because it is, buried the body over the top of everything. But structurally, that's where you want it. You don't want to be driving down the road and split in half like the camera car used to do.
Well, it doesn't actually suspend as much weight as people think, because remember, the body is a unibody construction.
Yeah.
So the body is actually what makes it strong.
Yeah.
Just like a floor pan on a Beetle, they're not very strong either. They're very flexible. Once you put that body on it, though, everything gets rigid.
Well,
so,
if you do decide to make a convertible out of a regular vehicle, a bus, or Beetle,
like that little green one.
You've got to put the reinforcement rails or something
from the convertible.
On it,
yeah, if you're gonna do it.
The roof is the structure of that roof is what keeps it from doing that.
That's exactly right.
Man, I've seen them. I've worked on them. I looked at them. I'm going, this is a homemade convertible, right? And I said, yeah. And I said, does it kind of flex a little bit when you go over a railroad tracks or a speed hump? Said, yeah, I'm worried about that. And I said, you should be. I mean, take it and get.
Well, you remember when we pushed her in the garage? I had my hand on the top of the door, right about where the lock goes in. So I was over the crack, and as we went through not Wild Bill, your Wild Bill, went through Decollete Don's garage entrance, which kind of has that bump.
Yeah.
It opened up wide and then pinched my hand. It probably got about an inch wide.
Well, you remember having Alan, or the whole thing collapsed on?
Oh yeah, there was nothing. Actually, shit, even the roof wasn't supporting it.
No, it was like. What was supported? Molecules, just thin layer of molecules.
The steering column.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Steering column held it up. As soon as I unbolted the steering column, the doors fell and hit the ground. There were no heater channels, and the A-pillar on the driver's side was mostly gone. And the one on the passenger side wasn't in very good shape either, where it attached to the dashboard, so the whole front end flexed. If I still had the hood on it, the hood would have been pointing to the sky. While it was closed, the whole front end would have...
That'd be an odd looking vehicle. You had to adjust the headlights down.
Yeah, I should have just welded it back in that way.
Mount the headlights on the bottom of the A-frame. I mean, the I-beam.
Yep. But anyway, this is trying to be like a quick project, quick little side project. I seem to do one of those every spring, it looks like. So
you're
this will be my little winter-spring project.
I was
And
going to say, it's not even spring yet.
yeah, I'm a little ahead of it.
It's not even winter yet. It's 21st.
Well, last year,
December is the first.
actually, it was 2 years ago, was the ATVW. Remember, I started that in January, February, something like that. And then I had that ready for the show.
Yep.
And in this past year, I guess I worked on everybody else's shit instead of my own. But Eleanor came home in the spring, if you remember.
That was important.
And I'm still fighting with that. It's just she needs a little bit of everything. Nothing wants to work right. But little by little, I'm working my way through it, so I'll get there.
Well, you don't want to get in too big of a rush with that thing because one wrong wrench or jack or whatever.
Well, that car, I'm not building it for the short term either. I'm building it to keep it, so I want it right.
We got some tires here. We want to sell you some tires.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. Probably won't fit. Oh,
yeah, the bearings on there have been progressively getting worse.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem was not only the tire dry rotted, but the wheel was spinning slowly.
Yeah.
It took effort to get it to turn.
Yeah.
And then it would free up, and then it would start to turn slow again. And then finally, when the tire finally got flat. I mean, completely flat. And it was sitting on the rim, so then it squared off the bottom, and it ate it. But then when it rained on it the other day, that's when the bearings locked up completely.
Acid rain.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they ate the bearings on it, so we're gonna pull that drum off. I can't wait to see what's behind there. But yeah, it was turning, and now it's not.
Well, at least the steering box and everything.
In fact, it just turned a little bit, didn't
Yeah,
it?
I saw it.
Yeah, it did, because the flat spot is now up a little bit.
Up and down. All right. All right. Keep up the good work, Duck Man.
Thank you.
There's probably people watching you.
They tell me it's not good work. Yeah, I hear it all the time.
Has anybody said, "Oh, you're gonna leave that wood in there"?
I'm waiting for it.
All right.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
Just like when I just got this yesterday, by the way. Remember when you were working on Matt Small's engine and you shoved that Harley exhaust in the Stinger? Yeah. Just, only for the reason you did that is because it was too damn loud to work on in the shop.
Right.
Well, somebody commented on that. Who the hell puts an exhaust on like that? It's the ugliest thing ever. I just got that comment yesterday. That guy has no idea how to build. The whole engine's a piece of junk.
5 years ago?
5, 6, yeah. He said the whole engine's a piece of junk. It's like because somebody stuffed a Harley exhaust in a Stinger? What?
I forget what the comments were when we were breaking that engine in, but I mean...
Oh, that was a great video.
Oh, yeah.
Link down below in the video description, guys, and you can find it also in the corner of the screen if you haven't seen it before. You can watch the oil explode all over Wild Bill's leg.
My
Twice.
shoes are still greasy.
Twice. I got you twice, though.
I know.
And I had that silly scream. You remember I was trying to get your attention. Ah!
I heard that. You know why I heard it? Because it reminded me of a main bearing locking up on the engine. You know, that squeal. Yeah. But yeah, that was some crazy times there, man. And all because of this wrong filter inside of that spin-off filter.
Right, the threads were different. Only a little different, but different enough that it blew off. Finally found the right one, though. That little tiny bitty filter. It was so funny. That little thing. It was like a motorcycle filter. It was so small. But that's all it needs. Just needs a filter.
But that was also one of the only times I remember you using that system that you had that was on the rail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to set that up. The trouble is the GoPro's been acting weird. The rail's fine.
Okay.
The GoPro, the batteries, they swelled up, and now they don't fit in the GoPro anymore. And the last one that I had that wasn't swelled, I put it in there, and I could barely get it out. It was so big.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it needs a new set of batteries. And I hate the audio on that thing, too.
You could barely get it out because it was so big.
Ooh! Such a problem.
I think if somebody poured hot water on you, you'd get it out, right?
Or put it in to save it.
Yeah, that's it.
Keep the hot water off of there.
All right, man. I'm out of here.
Later, dude.
All right. Talk to you.